That's it, ready. They're off and racing. Underway for the Cube, the premier events venue in Leicester Fillies Handicap. They race here over 1.5 miles. D-Day Arvalan Riva, the slowest away, but is making significant ground in between rivals early on. Sweet Fantacy, light blue and white colours, got a decent start. Pretty well stretched out in these early stages. One or two of them opting to race wider. Dreams a Dozen is followed by Edwina Sheeran. D-Day Arvalan Riva is stalking Sweet Fantasy. Back to the inner is Mrs. Twig. At the back of the field is Al Asmak in company with Joe's Rainbow. So it's Sweet Fantasy, narrowly ahead. Shows up for Rossa Ryan and continues to shunt the inside. Is 5 or 6 deep here. More towards the running rail, Mrs. Twig. Edwina Sheeran is somewhat between that pair. Dreams a Dozen. Deepest of all. Races around the outside for Richard Kingscote and is followed by D-Day Arvalan Riva. Yellow and black colours of Joe's Rainbow. And finally Al Asmak. Robert Havlin content not to get involved with the early gallop, which continues to be set by Sweet Fantasy as they make their journey towards the end of the back straight. Sweet Fantasy, winner at Southwell last December, in front with 1.5 lengths the advantage over Edwina Sheeran. The hat-trick seeking Edwina Sheeran in second. Mrs. Twig up the rail third. Purple and white star jacket is D-Day Arvalan Riva. Deeper still is Dreams a Dozen. Then Joe's Rainbow in company with Al Asmak as they continue this right-handed turn back towards home. So Sweet Fantasy. Steady stuff in front, as expected in the gathering gloom here at Leicester. From Mrs. Twig and Edwina Sheeran. They're followed by D-Day Arvalan Riva. Deepest of all is Dreams a Dozen as they level. Al Asmak is niggled at the back of the field. Joe's Rainbow just last of all as they now begin to up the tempo. 3.5 furlongs to go. Sweet Fantasy in front, dictating here. Rossa Ryan appears to be sitting pretty at this stage. On the inside, Mrs. Twig is now firmly driven and fading, it would appear. Edwina Sheeran coming off the bridle. D-Day Arvalan Riva now tries to make her effort and her presence felt in between rivals. Dreams a Dozen next in the field, but they've got to go some to get to the pace-setting Sweet Fantasy, who's still in front. 2 lengths is the lead. Edwina Sheeran in second place. D-Day Arvalan Riva in third. Then Dreams a Dozen, Mrs. Twig, Al Asmak and Joe's Rainbow have never got on terms heading to the final furlong. Sweet Fantasy keeps on rolling. It's clear by 4. Edwina Sheeran in second. Dreams a Dozen back in third. It's Sweet Fantasy keeping up the gallop. Edwina Sheeran is trying very hard in second place, but Sweet Fantasy all the way on the sharp end, well dictated from Rossa Ryan. Beats Edwina Sheeran, Dreams a Dozen third, and back in 4th place, D-Day Arvalan Riva.